If you're a cutie patootie, come to the front. This one's for us. Today we're going to be talking about ingenue essence. If you feel like you can't fit into baddie culture, this is probably why. So if you're new here, we're doing a series on Kitchener essences. Today we are exploring the ingenue essence. Kitchener ingenue would embody some delicate energy, very sweet, very charming,
very demure, very mindful.
but a youthful charm as opposed to a sensual charm, like a romantic would. Both are very yin dominant elements, so it can be easy to either mix the two of them or even to get them confused. But ingenue is going to be very sweet and soft, kind of like a girl next door. But romantic is going to be very lush and sensual. That being said, we're going to start off with a brow gel. We want kind of soft and wispy brows for this because it's very similar to natural in the fact that it's almost effortless. So I would typically talk about Kibi in this part of the segment, but there is no Kibi ingenue body type. However, what I've noticed is theatrical romantics usually tend to hold an ingenue archetype. They're very petite, they're very yin, and that petiteness obviously makes for a bit more of a delicate frame, which of course is going to work well with delicate patterns and fabrics. Now, again, if you're new to this series, that does not mean that if you have a certain Kibi body type that excludes you from being an ingenue. But it does mean that if you're a theatrical romantic body type, you might want to look into some of those ingenue elements. Typically, women with ingenue essence will have large round eyes, small, delicate lips, a petite nose that's a little bit upturned, soft round jawline, soft round cheeks. Sound familiar? And overall, they'll have a little bit more of a sweet essence to them. I feel like the pink is a little too cool for my personal preference, but we're going to just keep on with it. If you like hair that is big and bouncy, if you like hair bows and headbands, if you like curls that are a little bit more uniform, ringlets, spirals, if you prefer to keep your natural hair defined and above jaw length, if you're the French curl type of girl, if you go into the nail shop and you ask for the baby pink set, if you are a Barbie over Bratz girl, you're probably going to have an ingenue essence. But that doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a darker aesthetic that you are not an ingenue. I think in terms of Silky Mochi's dark aesthetic muses, the Haunted Doll would absolutely fit. And that's what the dichotomy between an ingenue is, dark or light. When you look at a haunted, creepy doll like Megan, it is still an ingenue essence. Now, with ingenue essence being youthful, I do want to make sure to cover up any darkness that I have under my eyes. I want it to look like I slept for 15 years waiting for my prince. So, all in all, if you are a little bit more into like creepy gothic, you might be a little bit more of that Wednesday Addams vibe, you might still be an ingenue. And that's the thing about it. All of this is just a blend of something. Soft and rugged, yin and yang, casual or upkept, and all you have to do is find your blend. So because we know that ingenue essence is going to be a little bit more soft and delicate and sweet, I'm actually gonna downturn this instead of upturn it. I feel like upturned eyes can come off a little bit sensual. And since I think I also have romantic essence because of how yin my face is, I want to play down that sensuality and play up the playfulness. So we're gonna accentuate this little button nose, snatch that bad boy down. And we're just blending that out with a brush instead of the beauty blender because again, I really want very intentional placement. So of course, with the youthful charm and delicacy being elements of the essence, you're likely to see softer seasons, softer, cooler seasons. If you are a soft summer, if you're a summer at all, to be honest, if you're a light spring, or this may be a little controversial, but I would even go as far as to say if you're a dark winter, you can likely get away with ingenue styles a little bit more often than somebody with a autumn or spring placement, especially deep autumn or bright spring. Now, I say dark winter because they do have the ability to have high contrast, so that does leave room for pastels like pastel pink, pastel blue, as long as they pair it with something that is deep and cool, like black. Which is why this little number eats for an ingenue that's a dark winter. This one too, and this one. And if you are a dark winter, you get to play up that haunted doll look a little bit more. So if you have a dark essence, chef's kiss. And now I'm just kind of blending that out. Yes, it is intense. We want it that way because it's going to die down some. We want it really flush everywhere. This kind of reminds me of that strawberry makeup trend. I just went back in with another little layer of concealer because I did kind of go a little overboard with the blush. Some of the popular aesthetics that I feel embody ingenue essence are the coquette aesthetic. I think that that one's the classic ingenue essence because she looks very young and sweet and innocent. So if we look at Bailey Bass, I think that she is a perfect example of an ingenue essence. She has a lot of really great styles, and I think that that's why she was able to play Claudia. You will see a lot of frills, a lot of bows, and while she is a grown woman, she never looks like an overgrown child in any of these styles. If you know who Bianca Lawson is, you know that she absolutely embodies an ingenue essence. And I think that it's kind of difficult to find black celebrities with ingenue essence because often in media, black women are played up to the sexual stereotype or the mammy stereotype, but never Bianca Lawson. I think Bianca Lawson is a perfect example of that haunted doll look, especially in this one. Oh, the woman you are. I can't really find any examples of someone that does have a ballet core aesthetic daily, but I did find this picture, and I do think that that is another really good example of an ingenue essence. The girl next door is a great aesthetic. I feel like Nia Long in this picture. I feel like Tatiana Ali in this picture. I feel like that 90s girl aesthetic. I'm a blush girl, but I am not this type of blush girl. So we're going to dim that down with a foundation brush. And the fun thing about old money style is it has no limits because it can either be natural, it can be classic, or it can be ingenue, which is where you get some of those academia and preppy looks from. Now, if you watch the new Gossip Girl, then you know who Monet DeHaan is. She's played by Savannah Lee Smith, and I think that that is a great example of an ingenue essence that is a little bit more classic. Now, I don't personally know if this is just too much blush for me or if I just haven't put on like a bronzer contour or anything yet, and that's why I'm feeling like it's too heavy. But we are going to go ahead and bronze, and if I hate it, then I'm going to kind of douse this down a little bit more. So, some of the other aesthetics that I noticed as far as like makeup goes, you might see like a Duyin style, you might see the Fresita girlies, doll makeup, that painted by Esther look. That's actually an ingenue essence. I know, we're all waiting for celebrity examples. Some of the ones that I've noticed are Janet Jackson, Halle Bailey, Sandy Newton, and everybody's favorite, Rihanna. And I'm going to add a little bit of depth to the outer corners before I put on the gloss. I want the lip to be really rounded, so I'm kind of shortening the outer corners. Kind of overlining that cupid's bow a little. Now we're just going to use a gloss, and that should kind of soften this up a little bit more. I think that if you have color season that's a little bit more muted or soft, it might be a little easier for you to actually embody this essence. I think that if you have large round features, it's going to be really easy for you to embody this essence. But I also believe that if you are a dark autumn, a bright spring, a bright winter, something to that nature where it's not necessarily in your color palette, you can still embody the essence. I think that even if you're a dramatic or a flamboyant natural, you can still embody the essence. And I think what it comes down to is whether or not you look like an overgrown child when you kind of embody these styles. So one of the celebrities that I feel like embodies the style without looking too childish is Aja Naomi King. She manages to keep it youthful and still grown. I think that some of the ingenue placements in a birth chart are definitely some Pisces placements. You definitely get a lot of fourth house placements with that creativity. You might get a lot of seventh house placements with that romance, maybe even some fifth house placements. But I feel like fifth house placements are a little bit more sensual than ingenue. Cancer energy is going to be kind of a mix between ingenue and romantic energy. And I think the one that people don't give enough credit to is Capricorn energy. I feel like when I see Capricorn Venuses, they embody ingenue essence like nobody else. Capricorn Venuses and Capricorn Moons, I feel like embody an ingenue essence better than anybody that I know. So don't sleep on those placements if you have Capricorn placements. You are not supposed to be dressed in a suit, trust me. So what do you guys think? Do you think that you embody this essence? Do you think that I embody this essence? And if you do, tell me what placements you have in the charts. I definitely want to know if I'm right or if I'm just making shit up. If you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this journey. If you like this video, send it to your friends and stay tuned because I do have more that I'm going to be covering. Our next essence is the natural essence. So if you think that you have some natural essence, stay tuned because we're going to talk about it. Until then, see you.